Joe, I was up to 550 some pounds. I was having to weigh myself at meat places. You know, and I was telling him that I used to walk in and like a drug addict, I would scan the room and make a count of everything I could eat. You know what I mean? Like if you had like the little baby Snickers and a little thing or da-da-das and like the other day I was in my green room and somebody was in the green room and they picked up a piece of candy and said, you want one of these? Because we just got hit a dab or something. I didn't even know the candy was in there, Joe. Because normally they get the candy, they don't put shit like that in my room. And that was the first time I was like, oh, I'm on to something. Like I'm fucking winning right now.
Right.
Like I didn't even notice. I could have been eating them for 5 hours. Right. I didn't know. You know what I mean? I would have ate them all. I didn't even scan for candy. It's not even a thought now when I walk into places. Is there a candy dish here? You know what I mean? That used to be literally one of the first things I would look for. You know, is there a candy dish here? I've had to make so many different small habit changes, but it's been I was just telling Bubba out there, and I was telling Bruce on the way in here, I feel this good just losing 100 pounds, Joe, and I've never told my weight, but I'm going to tell it here because I want some accountability from people. I'm 420 something now, 420. And imagine I'm walking around different, talking different. Sure. My shoulders are setting different. I'm fucking my wife different. I'm just kind of, I'm moving different.
Bro, you probably have crazy powerful legs.
Dude, it's crazy,
I bet
Joe.
you have massive leg muscles.
I've been going to the gym now. Listen, dude, as much as you can fit on that thing, I'm throwing.
Of course.
Throwing.
You know what
I'm saying?
Think about it, man. You've been carrying around 500 pounds.
Yeah, 500 plus.
Your legs must be sturdy as fuck.
No, dude.
And if you could lose weight now, you can have like super legs. If you like keep going.
No, Joe, man, my goal is when I come back and do this next year, it's going to be fucking insane. Like, I've never been more dialed in. I've never cared more about it. I've never been happier.
What are you eating? Like, what has he got you eating?
Oh, dude, man, he's here. He's actually been really killing it for me. So from eating bad for so many years, my gut has just been fucked. So we've just been focusing on slowing down the gut. I'm only eating twice a day. I'm eating a fruit snack in between.
You ever do any fasting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to fast 1 day a week now, just to work on like the autophagy, so some of these skin cells, so I won't be as I don't want to be saggy. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to lose that kind of weight.
Do you know that story about that one dude that went on nothing but a vitamin IV drip for
a year and lost 200-something pounds?
I think he lost 300 pounds.
Yeah, I've watched
Didn't
that
he lose
story.
like 300 pounds? Something crazy like that. The dude had no food for you and his fat shrunk, but his skin shrunk too.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's called, somebody told me, and I could have the name wrong here, y'all, but it's called autophagy. Have you heard of this?
I think autophagy is
Ain't that where the skin cells?
I think your body gets rid of all bad cells. This is like something that comes with fasting. Yeah. Bad cells is definitely the scientific version of it, but I think the way they explained it to me is that has something to do with the how do you say elasticity?
Elasticity of the skin, and that it's what helps. So that's why we're 1 day a week, at least every other week, I'm just taking a full 24 hours. But I'm only eating probably 8 or 9 hours a day now anyway, so I'm kind of intermittent anyway.
That's the real bummer when people lose a lot of weight is that you got all this extra skin. Like Ethan Suplee, he had to have all that shit cut and stitched up.
I've listened to that podcast with him twice in the last 90 days.
Really?
Y'all's full 3-hour podcast is first here. Just to kind of, I love the way he thinks.
Yeah.
It's just,
he's a brilliant guy.
Yeah, for me, I'm always looking for like inspiration. As a songwriter, we're always writing a song. As a comedian, you're always looking for a joke. You know what I mean? So that kind of I'm always looking for that. So when I found that pod, I was like, oh, this dude, and he kind of did what I would. How he looks now is a dream scenario for me. He didn't get like crazy big, but he doesn't look like saggy sick. Because sometimes when you go from being as big as we've gotten, you get down to 300 pounds and people start looking at you like, are you okay? And you're like, I'm fucking better than I've ever been. You know what I mean?
They're worried.
Yeah, they're worried, but they just couldn't imagine. You know what I mean? Even when I just told, I always forget his name, but your guy out there, the archer guy, worked at the archery store, great guy. But I was just telling him that same thing, same concept.
Yeah, if you just keep going, it'll become normal for you to not eat candy, normal for you to eat healthy food. It'll be what you crave.
Lots of protein, lots of bone broth kind of potatoes. Anything that we're doing, whether it's rice or bone broth, we're not doing a lot of it, but when we do it, we're soaking it in bone broth, keeping it really clean protein style. kind of going low on fats to kind of let my liver kind of reset from just years of me eating foods, fatty foods and shitty greases. You know what I mean? So just been kind of taking it slow, man. I'm enjoying it though. The cool thing is he did Bilal Muhammad's weight cut. He's worked with DC. This guy's I found him from that world. So he really gets it, and
that's a complicated science.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get those guys like Bilal's way over 170. I don't know what he weighs, but I got to guess he's close to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And he cuts down to 170 perfectly.
Yeah, Ian does it every time. Said it's pretty effortless, man. Ian says that out of everybody that Bilal is just insanely disciplined. You know what I mean? Like when he goes into camp, he's like a different dude.
Well, that dude does, he's done camp in Ramadan. And you know, you can't eat or drink anything during the daylight hours of Ramadan.
Yeah.
So he would have to get up in the morning while it's dark out, have a morning breakfast, go to training, not eat anything. And
do it 2 a day, probably.
And no water.
Yeah.
And you're training.
Oh.
And then at the end of the day, then you get to eat.
No, he's a machine. That dude is complete.
That Leon Edwards fight was crazy.
I get to see him tomorrow.
He's a great guy, man.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He really is. And, you know, the fact that he's that devout a Muslim that he, you know, prays 5 times a day, like, he doesn't fuck around. Like, he's really by the book. He doesn't even swear.
No, he says fudge.
Yeah. What's
Jelly,
the fudge?
Jelly, what the fudge are you doing?
Yeah.
When are you coming to fudge in Chicago?
It's ridiculous. He's like this assassin, and he, you know,
I'm going to get
swear.
to see the 2 champs tomorrow. Or I'll get to see him, and I'll get to see the Venezuelan Vixen. They're both coming. So him and Juliana are coming out to the show.
Chicago?
Yeah, I'm super excited, man.
Nice.
Album release night, Chicago, United Center. First time at the United Center.
Nice.
Big deal for me.
Chicago's always a great fucking town.